18th of June, Rabbi Levitt, Chofetz Chaim.
Right.
They don't have an explanatory note about that at the moment.
Okay. All right.
Oh no, just a moment. Oh, in Zion. Oh, Zion. Yeah, sorry, it's just a bit confusing. In Zion, it says that if an individual has been established in the city as a known Russia, well, that's different to an Apikoros.
Okay, that's Sif Zion. We're gonna do that right now.
Yeah, they've got a note about that, but not before.
Okay, so we have to know what's the difference, what's the halachic classification of Russia as opposed to a Apikoros. Okay, so we're going to do Sif Zion over here.
So an Apikoros is not somebody who doesn't believe in Hashem, but he has to be disparaging of Hashem.
It doesn't say anything about Hashem. He denies something that is he denies what it says in the Torah or in the oral law.
All right.
He says it's not so. Okay.
If he says it might be so, but I don't believe it, but it could be so, but I don't believe it. Does that put him into a better class of Apikoros? Or
what if he said that he's not sure if it's so?
All right. But he doesn't want to believe it. So I don't believe it, but it could be so. Okay, but it's the moment you've got to convince me. Because there are people like that.
I think they're called agnostics.
What?
I think they're called agnostics in English.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
As opposed to atheists.
That called a Sefer.
No.
So he's not so there's like three categories. There's someone who says, I believe that all the words in the Torah and in the Chazal are true.
Right.
That's what we would call a Maimon.
What's a Maimon?
A Maimon is someone who believes. Right? He's a believer in Torah. And then you have someone who's a kofar. He says it's not so. And then you have somebody in the middle. He says he doesn't know if it's so or not. He's not convinced that it is. So perhaps such a person is not in the category of an Apikoros.
I was told that one of the criteria for calling somebody an Apikoros is that he has to be very learned. Has to be somebody who really understands what it is that he's denying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So would Korach be an Apikoros?
Certainly, he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was.
Mm.
I mean, he was. He stood at Har Sinai. He heard Hashem speak to Moshe Rabbeinu. He heard Hashem speak to the nation.
Right.
It's a very very difficult to understand that whole story over there.
Right.
So okay, so if you're going to say that the only Korach is an Apikoros and no one else, so then everybody is not. They just don't know. There's not an Apikoros. They just don't know. He doesn't know. He can't claim that he believes what the Torah says, but he just doesn't know. He doesn't know. Okay. Okay, so maybe yeah. It's interesting that the art scroll doesn't have any comment about that.
Not that I could see. Mm.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're a little bit unclear about what's the exact definition of an Apikoros over here. And then so now we're going to go on to Zion. V'da od. De'im muchsak be'ir l'Russia ipnei shar inyone averos. Now, furthermore, you should know that if this person has a presumption amongst the people in the city that to be a Russia because of other matters of Averas. And we'll see what that refers to. Shemuter avuram leganoso, that on that account, it would also be permissible to degrade him. Gamkein din hachi. This would be the din. Meaning, I think what he means to say is there would there would not be a prohibition of speaking lashon Hara against such a person. The Ezehu Muchsak, who is considered to be a Muchsak as a Russia, Kol Shehuskam Bifnei Anshe Ha'ir, the Russia. Everybody agrees about this person that he is a Russia. Ad shelo yipol lehem bo safek. So there's not really a suffix about how observant of the Torah he is. Makmas shmuas haros sheotzos olav tamid minyone niyuf ukeyotze bezeh. Devorim shenispashet yedias isuran b'kol Yisrael. Now here there is a sentence in parentheses that we have to know exactly what type of Averas it is that we're talking about over here. And in parentheses it says that we're talking about there are a number of reports about this person in regard to matters of niyuf. Now, niyuf is promiscuity being involved in forbidden relationships with women that are not one's wife, because these are things that everybody knows is forbidden by the Torah. But even in regard to that, just a rumor came out about this person. One cannot degrade such a person on the basis of a mere rumor. Even to decide in one's heart that what he heard is true is forbidden. And then he has furthermore in parentheses, and even though I am very concerned and a bit wary to print this, what I'm writing over here, because of the people who like to speak about other people. Because the moment about such people, they're looking to hear, and the minute that they hear such a type of a thing about an individual, they immediately jump to the conclusion that this person has a presumption of being a Russia, and therefore Biaganu also, and they will castigate him and degrade him. V'yitlu esaheter b'sefer hazeh, and they will say, and if somebody will say, "Hey, you can't say lashon hara about that person," and the person will respond, "But I saw it in the Sefer Chofetz Chaim that it's mutter." So the Chofetz Chaim is saying, I'm afraid to say this, what I'm saying over here, because it could be misused. Im kol zeh, with all of that notwithstanding, lo hishmatatov, I have not deleted this. You see that I wrote it. Just like the Chazal say in the Gemara, Al Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, Omru mehai kro, Omru, Ki yesharim darkei Hashem, but tzadikim yelchu bam, uposhim yikashlu bam. We have to call it like it is, and we got to say what the truth is, and even the tzadikim will use that truth for the sake of avodas Hashem, and there will be people who will misuse the truth, and there's not that, but we can't hide the truth. Okay. Sifches.
I'm confused. I thought he said you can't speak about the person. You cannot. One is
okay.
forbidden.
So here's what he's saying. If a person there's a general consensus in the city that he is a Russia, that he is an Apikoros, so that's what we say. He's not included in Amisecha, and therefore there's no prohibition of Lashon Hara and et cetera, et cetera. But simply because if one hears one rumor about a person that he was involved in a very improper act, that's not enough of a presumption to say that this person is a Russia, and then everybody just goes ahead and speaks about that person. So you have to make a distinction between a person who has been confirmed in the city, that it's known, that people acknowledge that this is these are the activities that this person does, as opposed to when one hears a rumor, or maybe even two rumors. I don't know how, he didn't all he said so far, all the Chofetz Chaim said so far is that aval im yotza alav kol ba'alma bilvad. But if a rumor is surfacing about this individual, meaning one rumor, that's how I understand it. One rumor. So you'll ask. So then it's Chofetz Chaim says usher. Then it's forbidden to rely on that rumor and decide in one's heart that this person is a Rasha. He has not been acknowledged by the general populace to be a Rasha. All you did was hear one report about him. Who knows if what you're saying is true? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. That doesn't give a person a right to start talking and degrading such a person.
So what the Chofetz Chaim is hesitant to write is the fact that if it's well known or well established that he's a Rasha, you can disparage him.
Oh, very good. Very good. Very good. So what is the Chofetz Chaim afraid about? He's not afraid about telling you that don't go speaking Lashon Hara about this person just because you heard one rumor. Doesn't sound like he'd be afraid about that. He's talking about, he's worried about the Balei Halashon. He's worried about the Balei Halashon. The people, he says that when they hear, K'sheyishma'u al echad shemetz devar ma, they immediately decide that the person is a Rasha, and then they will speak Lashon Hara about him.
So he's afraid they'll confuse the two cases. They'll hear one rumor and they'll assume that means the person is well established as being a Rasha.
Wow, isn't that amazing? In other words, it says black on white in the Chofetz Chaim. It says black on white. If the person everybody acknowledges him to be a Rasha, then it's mutter. But if you hear one thing, then it's usher. But I guess a Baal Lashon is going to say, oh, the Chaim says it's mutter to talk about this person.
Right. Interesting.
Okay. Sif Ches. Sif Ches, B'da. The Masha Yesh Omrim the Mutter L'Saper Lashon Hara Al Balei HaMachloikes. Like Korach. It's permissible to talk about people who are involved in arguments. They're Balei Machloikes. Dafka im hu roa she'al yidei she'igale lifnei anoshim es godel tarmisam b'zeh ha'inyan v'yir'u she'ein hadin imam mitok zeh tushbas hamachlekes. There's permission to speak about people who are involved in a machlekes. That's only if, as a result of doing so, that the machlokes will be able to be extinguished. But otherwise, ain't shum chiluk b'davar. There's no difference whether he's a Baal Lashon Hara or whether he's not. In other words, there has to be a toelis, a real active and possible toelis in curbing the machlokes, and this is a necessary way to do so. But otherwise, it's not an excuse to. It's not a carte blanche to speak Lashon Hara about such a person because he's a Baal machlokes. Gam tzarich le'elu apratim. Oh, and in addition to that, one needs to have a whole list of Tanaim, conditions. Aleph, the first condition is Shadivorim Shal Yodon Huskam Bedato Shehim Bale Machlekes. V'yeda Ma'atzmo, V'lo Yismoch B'zeh Al Shmiat Me'acherim. Im Loshin is Bar Lo Shehu Emes. He has to be absolutely sure that it is true that these people are involved in a dispute. Base Sarek Shechaven L'To'eles V'lo Mitzad Sina. One has to be saying this lashon hara because he wants to that these people should stop arguing, but not simply because he has something in for them and he wants to, and now he's got his opportunity to speak about them and it'll be mutter. In that case, it's not mutter. Gimel im be'efsharuto lahashkit hamariva ba'oifen acher. Maybe he can quiet this machlekes in some other way, with not having to speak lashon hara about the people. Shelo yitztark ledaber aleihem kegon al yedei hochacha ukeyotze bezeh. If he goes to the people themselves and tells them, look, you can't, you got to stop, you got to stop this machlekes over here. It's not doesn't allow it. If that will do the trick, so then there's no permission to speak lashon hara about these people. Also, lo l'saper lashon hara leihem. Im lo shehu yore lo hichom. Pen kishayedu bale machlekes mizeh she'ein daitu imahim yaferu atzmo v'shuv lo yiyeh lo eitze ek letakein es hadavar. Unless he's afraid of them and he has no other alternative, he can't go and confront them face to face. But even that requires a lot of thinking over and mulling over and thinking through. Is it really necessary? And is this going to do the trick to stop the machlekes? V'lo yimaher lahachlid hadavar b'daito lahatil shem bale machlekes al tzad echad rak she'yisponin heitev al pi haTorah mihem bale machlekes ve'im eno yochol levarer b'daito hadin imi she ve'al taseh adif. Now, what did he say over here? We ran out of time. Basically, he's got to be very careful to know is one side really in the right and the other side is not, and by speaking, he's going to be able to stop the side which is not right. But if it's not clear to him, then he better just stay on the sidelines over there. Okay. Okay. Parshas Korach. Bale machlekes. Moshe Rabbeinu tried to stop the machlekes.
Yep.
You need a link?
Okay. All the best to Mayor. We're done for today. It's 11:32 according to my